Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to pull out some dead and or damaged gardenias. We're going to replace them with some beautiful new angelonas. Then I'm going to show you how I'm going to prune my Forsythia and my lilac, because now is the time for me in North Carolina Zone 8A to prune both of those shrubs. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. They're both going to be a little bit different on how I prune, and I'm going to tell you why I want to prune them right now. But first, we're going to go ahead and get the gardenias out and the new angelonas in. So let's talk about where we are. Of course, we are here in the backyard, and if you are a faithful watcher of Gardening with Creekside, you will know that we are hosting a wedding at the end of May, and the reception is going to be in the backyard. So it's going to be right over here. I want my backyard to look fantastic for this event. And in this flower bed, you were with me when we planted this mass drift of Supertunia Vista Snowdrift. They are doing great. The double play doozy spireas, they are getting ready to bloom. They are covered in buds and quite happy. My incredibles back there are looking wonderful. They should be blooming right at the time of the wedding, so fingers crossed on that. What is not doing so well are the Pillow Talk gardenias, and I planted them late in the summer last year. So there are 5 that I strategically planted so that they are window pane between the spireas, basically in front of the incrediball. And as you can see, as we go through, they just kind of look worse and worse. So what happened is this one is completely gone. This was winter damage. I lost them in the winter because they had not been in the ground for very long. They had a lot of that winter damage. Typically, this is the time of year where your gardenias will look kind of rough anyway, because unless you're in the heat of the South, right? If you're in a hot area, maybe your gardenias are looking just fine. For me, can be a little borderline-ish on certain gardenias because it only takes a couple of nights or some really intense cold wind to give them some damage. These here are completely unprotected, right? I mean, this is like wide open space. Yes, the house is there, but there's really nothing here to protect them and to radiate heat and to give them some protection from that, the winter weather. Basically, if you get your gardenias in the ground this time of year and they have plenty of time to grow and get really, really well established, then they can bounce back from a cold winter and be just fine. Mine were young, planted them later on in the season. They didn't do that. So what we're going to do, we're going to get them out of the ground. I only lost one out of the 5. The other ones are still alive. Some look better than the others. I've recruited Mimi, my mama. She is the queen of plant rehabilitation, so I am going to take them out of the ground. I will take them to Mimi's house. She will pot them up. She will give them her wonderful Mimi TLC magic and bring them back to life, and then I'll figure out what I want to do with them then. But in the meantime, because of this wedding, I want to fill in the gap and make it look gorgeous. So these are new angelonas that will be available next year. They're not on the market, but look how pretty they are. So it's a bicolor of a white and a pink. What I'm going to do is I am going to clump these together. I'm going to put 3 together. You'll notice one tray is nice and big and one tray is small. That is simply due to their different ages. So the bigger ones are more mature, they're older plants than the smaller ones. But I want to put them in groups of 3. 3 times 5 is 15. I have 15 plants. So what I'm going to do is just group them together as one big massive plant. What I'll probably do, I'm not sure if I'm going to put 2 bigs and 1 small together or just go ahead and put one group. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do, is put 1 small one with all the groups instead of just having one group that's super, super small. Now these will get in the ground like 18 to 30 inches tall because Angelona, of course, is very upright. I have some other Angelona in the ground. That's the Perfectly Pink, which is a nice dark pink. This is a lighter pink, be really fun. And they love the heat. They absolutely thrive in the heat. They love the full sun, so it is perfect for me to put them in this spot. So what I'm gonna do, set the camera up, get the shovel out, pop them out of the ground, the gardenias out of the ground, sprinkle some biotone in the hole. Depends on how the hole looks. I may get my auger just to kind of aerate it just a little bit, and then go ahead and plant these guys in. It's pretty simple. Swap one out and put some other ones in, and then we're gonna move on to trimming the Forsythia and the lilac. So let's get going. All right, my friends, so we're going to prune Forsythias. Now, you might notice that this plant is a little lopsided. That's because I already pruned half of it. I thought I had the camera recording. I didn't, so I already went through my whole explanation. So we're just gonna do it again and just pretend that this is really big. I have already cut off, this much of the plant. So yeah, okay, we're just gonna go with it. We're just gonna go with the flow here, people. All right. Forsythias, yellow bells, absolutely love them. In the South, maybe it's a Southern thing, maybe it's a regional thing, I don't know. But growing up, I always knew these as yellow bells, not Forsythias. Of course, the Forsythia is the correct botanical name for them. But Forsythias are a sign, at least here in the South, that spring is coming. They're going to be one of the earliest blooming shrubs, gorgeous yellow flowers. They are so sunshiny and happy after a long, dreary winter. It is a beautiful welcome that spring is coming. Show off is not your traditional Forsythia in the fact of that it has the most massive flowers I have ever seen. And it goes from the tippy top all the way down to the ground. So this entire shrub is covered in bright yellow, very happy flowers. The reason that we're going to prune it now is because it's wild and woolly. It was even more wild and woolly before I started pruning on it. And Forsythias bloom on old growth. That means that this season, spring, summer, fall of 2024, it is going to be growing, developing, putting on the flower buds for the spring of 2025. I do not want to prune this in late summer or early fall because I will be removing a lot of those flowers. Forsythia, especially this show off, maybe it's my location, maybe, I don't know, but it's quite wild and woolly. And I need to bring it in some, like I need to rein her in because I have got like some crazy, like long branches. I had one that was like 3.5 feet long, and I don't want it that crazy. I want it nice and compact, but yet when I prune it, it's gonna look really compact. It's obviously gonna put on a lot of beautiful growth and we'll get that more whimsical look again. So if you need to prune your Forsythias, your yellow bells, you're gonna wanna do it pretty much immediately after they bloom. Now mine finished blooming a couple of weeks ago, and so I could have done it earlier. I'm not concerned that it's still too late. For me in North Carolina, a zone 8A, I would say probably don't prune them any later than like the end of May. Like that would really kind of be my cutoff for that. So what I'm going to do is just go in here and shape up the plant. I am not going to be precise on where I cut it. If you want to be precise, great. Find a set of leaves and go right above those leaves and then prune it. I'm just going to have fun and really bring this baby back, and so it'll be nice and tight and compact, and then just in a couple of weeks, probably 2 weeks or less, we're going to see lots of new growth already coming back on it, and we're going to have the beautiful flowers again next spring. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, just like that, right? Much more manageable size. Took her down. She's probably right about 3 feet tall. I don't know, at her widest, 2.5, 3 feet wide. So that is what we did with this Forsythia. You really could prune it as much as you want. Once it's established, because this thing is probably, I guess it's going on its 4th year here. So once your Forsythias are established, you could really prune them. You probably could prune them really good. And maybe you don't do that every year. Maybe you do that every couple of years. You give them a really hard prune. Just know timing is everything. You want to do it in plenty of time for them to put on new growth. Now we're going to go do the Bloomerang Dark Purple Lilac, which we're going to do prune it in a completely different fashion than what we did with Show Off. In front of me, I have the Bloomerang Dark Purple Lilac. Now, as a North Carolina girl, Piedmont of North Carolina, the heat, humidity, I never, growing up, was around lilacs. This is just not a plant that you see a ton of where we live. Because of our heat and humidity, sometimes they just will not perform very well. You will see lilacs, of course, in much colder climates. In fact, this dark purple is cold hardy. I believe it's zones 3 to 7. As you know, I'm an 8A, but our rep, Terry from Spring Meadow, said that this has been the most heat tolerant lilac that they have found. Other people in the South have had great success with this one, so I gave it a whirl. This has been probably her 3rd, going in maybe to her 4th year as well. Y'all, this year it was spectacular. Absolutely covered in flowers. The most lovely fragrance, a new fragrance for me. I'm used to, of course, to like, you know, the gardenias and the tea olives and those kinds of things, honeysuckle. Well, this is a new one for me, but I am growing to love it really quickly. It is here in front of the flamethrower. This is Japanese maple. Full hot sun. I think probably the key to her success is that this is on irrigation. So we have drip irrigation in here, and she thrives. I have never pruned her. I wanted her to get nice and big. This year, however, I am going to give her a very light haircut. Bloomerang Dark Purple is a reblooming lilac, meaning that it blooms on old growth and new growth. I've already had my bloom from my old growth. So what I'm going to do is come in here and very gently, very selectively give her a prune. Whereas with the Forsythia, I was literally taking off 3 feet of the plant. This I took off, that's, I don't know, 8 inches of that. So what I'm doing is just going in there and giving her a little bit of a haircut, primarily where her older blooms were, and I'm just cutting above where the 2 leaves are. So I'm just going to go in there and give it a whirl. If you don't want to prune your lilac, you absolutely do not have to. You can simply leave her be. She will be 4 to 6 feet tall and wide at maturity. Where the blooms, the old blooms are, they will form like little, I don't want to say seed pods, but they'll form a little something different. If you don't like the look of that, then you can do exactly what I am doing right here and just going in and giving it a very gentle haircut. I do notice, however, I'm talking about how it does well in our heat and humidity. In July and August, especially August, it does start to look a little rough. I mean, every year about that time, I think, oh gosh, am I gonna lose it? Is she getting too much sun? This year, I mean, my gosh, she rebounded so nicely, just full of blooms. So I think she's pretty well established now. So I think we're safe with her. Certainly don't have to worry about the cold winter. For me, it's the heat of the summer. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and finish cleaning her up, and then I'll meet you back here in just a second. All right, there we go. Not anything shocking. I don't think with this one that you would know if you just walk by, you wouldn't go, oh my gosh, she just pruned that shrub, right? So just a nice little haircut. Now, what you also want to do is go ahead and give her some food, right? Give her a nice dose of slow release fertilizer. I will do that here in the next day or so. Go ahead and give her a shot of food. That will encourage new growth, right? So whenever you prune a shrub, a tree, a plant, whatever, that is encouraging new growth. When that plant blooms on new growth, you therefore are encouraging some new flowers. So it has been a nice afternoon, productive afternoon here in the garden. Got the gardenias out, the Angelona in, got the Forsythias pruned, and the lilac. What else could you ask for? As always, I hope y'all have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next garden video. The next video. All right, bye friends.